Oh. Keeping you up, are we?
Oh, dear. Hey, it's only 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, for Christ's sake.
G'day, listeners. Welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name's George Spencer, and it's that time of the week where we get to talk with some really cool sailors. But, of course, I have to, as you can hear, share the mic with my two idiot mates. So, first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
Well, I'm sorry we are keeping you up, but, that's just how boring we are, I suppose.
yes, it's my burden to bear.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Let's bring in Nick Boyce.
Oh, gentlemen. For the listener, actually become a viewer just to watch that little start there. That was quite funny. Yeah, fresh out of Sir James's funeral, gents, yesterday.
Yes.
State funeral. A lot of the legends of the sport were around, and great to hear some cool stories.
Good old
One,
stories.
About that house you spoke about in Seacliff, Jordan.
Yep.
The Hardy House.
Yep.
The Narita, the
Yes.
boat which Sir James ended up buying back, which was his father's.
I think
Hearing a bit about the wine business.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, what a privilege to be sitting there with pretty much half of the Australia 2 crew.
Yeah.
Wow. So good. Just all those guys there. And where myself and one CJ Howard would just discuss like the bond that those guys must have is just something that you could not even contemplate what that's about. And of course, attended by the who's who of SA sailing as well, including one Peter Strangways. Shout out to Strangers.
Oh, yeah.
He was there. But some bloody good stories, good banter. Ended up at the wine centre, sampling some of the Hardy's finest drops. So probably not that fresh faced out of the funeral, to tell the honest truth. And and then enjoyed a dinner with guest of the show, Sean Langman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So good day all round, and a life well lived. So valet, Sir James.
Here.
I've got a memory of Narita, a photo of Narita in 78 off Diamond Head in Hawaii. It must have been the Kinwood Cup. And I remember the police car coming out past Rottnest Island once. That was another boat that they had, and they actually lost the mast in Hawaii and then famously painted it pink, if you remember.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yep. Here.
Yeah.
I think and one of the stories actually Narita. So it was sold. Colin Hazelgrove bought the boat from the Hardy family, and he converted it from a gaff rigged to sloop rigged.
Yep.
When Sir James brought it back, he converted it back to original, to gaff rig. And Colin Hazelgrove, this was one of the stories yesterday, has said to Sir James, well, after Sir James rings him and tells him what's going on, and he goes, well, the arms must be bigger in your arm. The muscles in your arms must be bigger than the muscle in your head for doing such a maneuver.
I mean, kind of all modern sailboats kind of have gaff
you've
rigs
got to admit,
nowadays.
Sir James was fairly well up there with the biggest traditionalists of all time. You wouldn't have liked to have seen it with all that modern crap all over it.
Well, like he said, and I think his son was speaking, and one of the memories that he does have before his father passed away was like all of Narita's handmade blocks, like in the garage, they were being varnished and a whole bunch of things. So obviously that was played a big part of his life and buying the boat back and keeping it fully original. So
The great story of Sir James, because where Brighton Seacliff is in South Australia, there's a railway line runs from the city out to Brighton and further on down south these days. It goes a lot further, and then there's an alternate railway line that runs from the city out to the hills, Adelaide Hills, I guess, through Unley and stuff.
Alternate.
And, well, I'm just saying it's not the same railway line, different railway cars. And famously, Sir James tells the story of pulling the screws out of the seats of the railway as a kid heading home from school, because I think he went to St. Peter's or something, which is in the city. And famously pulling the screws out of the seat so he could build his first boat. And, I asked him about it. I said, you pulled all the screws out of the seats on the way home to Brighton. He said, oh, no, I did that one on the Unley train. Didn't want to ruin my train.
Used to catch the Unley train just to do that. Well, they would have been nice brass screws back then, probably.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, dear.
Machined in a local turning shop in Adelaide somewhere.
Yeah.
Boys, we're going to have to go on to our guest. I'm going to tell everyone we've already recorded this one. Give it away.
Well, go on then, tell them.
We've already recorded this one. The reason I'm saying that is because it was a bloody fun interview, wasn't it, boys? It was a lot of fun.
It was a super interview.
It's a great interview, and it was none of us had actually met our guest before. It was one we reached out just on a random chat, and we just had an absolute ball chatting to her. Our guest today on Barkarati is a Northern Australian. An Olympian, a laser or ILCA sailor, and is continuing, is right now campaigning to try and make it back to the Olympics after her first run in Tokyo. And I think fourth, so fantastic job in Tokyo, and now sixth place in Tokyo, sorry, and now going for it again. And we're very happy to have a chat to Sarah Douglas.
Pitter patter.
How are you now?
Thanks for joining us, Sarah. Welcome to Barkarati.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh,
Are you nervous? Are you nervous, Sarah?
No, not at all. I don't get nervous.
Well, Northern Australians definitely don't get nervous, so that's what we like.
Mm.
So, you're kind of in your prime at the moment, Sarah. It's all going good for you? Loving life?
I don't know. I am loving life. I don't know about prime. I feel like I'm still going. I feel like I still feel like a young gun, even though I guess at this point I'm 29. But yeah, I've been putting a lot of hard work into it, and I guess I'm starting to reap the benefits at this point. But it's still a grind, and it's still going.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like this whole, one of the things that fascinates us, and the reason Barkarati, one of the things we do on Barkarati is try and find pathways for people. So I'm just trying to imagine you as a young kid. You're starting to have conscious thought. You're starting to work out as you get older, you've got to do a job. Did you ever think that your job was going to be just to go sailing?
I don't know. There's so many parts of it, especially when you get into Olympic sailing, and it's not just about sailing. Like, you also have to fundraise and you have to work with all these people. So I don't know if I ever thought this is just, of course I'm just going sailing, but there's so many other pieces of it behind the scenes that I'm very involved in.
Yeah, it's quite the undertaking for you guys, obviously, and we've been watching you go for more than one Olympiad. We've been watching you sort of develop and grow, and now you're starting to move right to the very front of the fleet. You must have. Are you getting to that stage where do you feel you belong? Like, when you get to the boat park, are you thinking, I'm the one that people are nervous of?
I don't know about nervous of. I like to think that I'm friends with most people.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think, I've been here for a while. I'm quite friendly with everyone. Kind of see people and chat and catch up if we haven't seen each other for a while. But yeah, I feel like I'm, I guess, one of the athletes within the group. Finally, I always felt like I've kind of been that like young underdog athlete, and then maybe basically from Tokyo to now, I felt like I've really grown up a lot and matured, and feel like kind of stand on my own feet as well.
Let's look back. We've got here, obviously you've got origin in Barbados and Canada sort of together. How does that work? Can you give us a bit of a rundown on that?
Yeah, my family's kind of been back and forth between Barbados and Canada for like more than one generation. So I was actually born in Canada while my brother was born in Barbados, because my parents had moved up briefly to Canada, and then my mom was like, what, this winter thing isn't for me. Let's go back to Barbados. And I spent most of my childhood in Barbados and grew up, learned how to sail there. used to actually compete for Barbados until 2008, both my brother and I, and then we switched countries to Canada.
Yeah.
And then basically being in Canada since 2008 when I came up for school, and I did boarding school and then university, and then just kind of stayed in what Canadia, as you guys call it.
What's the attraction to Canadia for you folks from Barbados? What brought them to the Northern Australia?
I'm never going to get used to Northern Australia. I love it. So my parents, and I guess both my parents went to university in Canada, and my grandfather used to live in Montreal. So there's always been that Canadian connection. And when you have a Canadian passport, it's great. It makes life kind of a lot easier as well in terms of travel and support and everything. So we've always had that connection for, I guess, a couple generations as well.
So the connection to Canada is strong. Is there still a connection back the other way for you for Barbados? Obviously, growing up there, you've had a lot of childhood friends and childhood memories, and obviously sailing. It must still be a special place in your heart.
Oh, it's always going to be a special place in my heart. I absolutely love the island. Most of my family is still there. Until last year, my parents used to spend their winters there as well. Unfortunately, they made the terrible decision of selling their house and retiring to Canada.
Right, that's it.
Yeah,
We'll
so unfortunately, my time, I know my time in Barbados has kind of been somewhat limited with them selling the house, and they'll be there at Christmas, but I'm not going to make it this year, unfortunately, because I have a World Championships in Argentina, like right after Christmas. So it's not going to work out, but I love Barbados and spent a lot of time during COVID there as well.
Geez, that's a bit of a hit to the inheritance, right? Imagine just knowing that you're going to pick up this place in Barbados. It's all looking pretty good.
I know. And then my mom's getting rid of all of our family stuff. She's like, what do you want to do with all your scrapbooks from sailing? And I'm like, oh, my. And so I'm going through all of my, it was upsetting last Christmas, just going through all of your stuff from childhood that she's like, can I get rid of this? What can I get rid of? What can we keep? Jeez. Kind of going through memory lane there.
Mum's moving on. She's packing up.
Wow. Packing up.
Wow.
Yeah. New chapter for us.
Yeah, I thought you said new tractor for a second. I was thinking they've taken up farming.
How are you now? Pitter patter.
How are you now?
Definitely not my family.
No. Sitting around talking sailing with your friends the other day.
That's
there we go.
Kenny jokes. Stop it. All right, let's get into how you started. So obviously in Barbados, it's too hot to do anything. You just need to be in the water your whole time. Is that what it was, or just you got?
Not really, actually. So we had a dinner the other day for my mom's 60th, and my dad got up and spoke and was like, "It's all your brother's fault. This whole sailing thing."
Wow.
So actually, my parents didn't learn how to sail until my brother and I did. He got sent up to summer camp in Canada when he was like 8 years old. There, my mom was sending her son off to summer camp for like a month in the summer. And he got exposed to lake sailing and was like, you know what, this is a really cool thing. I want to learn how to sail, and kind of brought it back to Barbados. And it started off as a father-son activity.
Seems a common little pathway there. That's happened a couple of times to a couple of our guests, hasn't it? The summer camp thing.
That's true.
Yeah, you just get exposed to the water, and then they're like, this is really cool. I want to do more of it. And that was exactly what happened with my parents and my family. Is just like, oh, this is really cool. Let's try it. And we absolutely fell in love. Next thing you know, we're moving to a marina, we're buying a boat. All of our stuff is revolved around opties and traveling, and all the family vacations are around sailing. It really turned our life upside down.
Wow.
In saying that, though, I was imagining you kind of just on the beach that you go for a bit of a sail in Barbados, but the actual turn of events to have your brother going off on summer camp, which is kind of it's not really a thing here for us Southern Australians, but that's a whole different ballgame. But when you get back, what boats do you sail in Barbados? How's all that look?
So the first boat I learned how to sail on was a topper. I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's a British like plastic boat. I guess somewhat similar to a laser, with plastic. And then I switched into the Opti and got really competitive in the Opti. There was a really nice group and community setting up in Barbados. And of course, my dad kind of took the reins and got the spreadsheet out and started planning everything. And, brought a couple coaches in to help us out, develop as a country. And we had a nice little team for quite a bit there. That was really, really fun.
It's kind of an interesting thing because obviously, it's part of the cruising route, coming in. Now, I have to ask this question first before we continue that statement. You're the local from Barbados. Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean?
I say Caribbean.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't go other way, though.
What do you say, Jay?
It's Caribbean.
What do you say, Brett?
Caribbean.
It's the Americans who say the Caribbean.
What do you say, Bossy?
Caribbean.
Anyway, so the Caribbean, and apologies for our Americans, I'll just translate that, is the word Caribbean for you guys.
There's no wrong way of saying it. Caribbean or Caribbean.
Yeah. Anyway, I just went down to aluminium and aluminum, and just my mind's raced off in other directions. But you're on that cruising route, so there's people having adventures. There's always people coming into your neck of the woods when you're growing up as a kid, living these sort of adventures. Like it's the pathway, and races coming in there as well, whether they're finishing in Barbados or other islands. But it's into the Caribbean, and was there any of that an influence, or was it just the whole Opti thing was what sort of got you fired up?
It was mostly the Optis. Actually for Barbados, we're kind of separate from the island chain.
Yeah.
So it's actually a bit challenging for boats to come and sail to the island because it's like upwind for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I think when they come over and do like the Arc or kind of sail the Caribbean, they'll skip Barbados and go right to St. Lucia or Martinique or something and stick along the island chain, which is a bit easier. So I didn't get that much like exposure to that. I mean, boats still do go there, but not as many as that would go around the island chain. For me, it was the Optis. I had all of my friends who were in it. Every Friday night I was spending at the yacht club. After school, I was going to the yacht club. It was really about the Optis and the friends that I had. And like, my parents had friends, and it just became such a social hangout place for us.
It's interesting because one of the things we've talked about on the show, and it comes up in the world of sailing, and it's come from right across lots of different nations, is, how to keep kids in their sport, how to make them better sailors, and then there's this whole program of heavy coaching. And I think you probably went through that. And then there's this element of just having fun, and telling the kids just to get out there and have fun. Because regardless of whether you're doing drills or whatever, if you're out there on the water, you're still learning, developing feel, all those sorts of things. Did you, because I think you took a couple of years out when you were young, did you get overdone, or was it all just fun for you and then you just found a distraction?
I got too competitive as a 16-year-old, and I no longer was having fun. I got too competitive. I was kind of doing that youth worlds route, and I ended up coming like second at the youth nationals in Canada, and it absolutely crushed me. I was like, I came second. I don't know why. That just broke me. Probably because I was so competitive and I lost on the final day. And when I came second, I was like, Dad, that's it. Like, I hate sailing. I'm going to volleyball camp next summer. Like, I had spent every summer sailing, and I was like, that's it. I'm done. So I just got too competitive and I wasn't having fun. Yeah, I totally agree that you need to, even when you're doing your sailing, like, incorporate moments of fun, whether it's like within drills or the coaches or with your friends. Like, just find those times to do it, because I certainly lost the fun of it all. And it was kind of like a job.
No.
So what was that pathway then for Optis? And then you're at 16 when you came second. What were you sailing at that point in time?
So I had switched into the laser radial. For ILCA 6 now. So I was doing that. And then I also had like a brief stint in the Bite C2, because that was what the boat was in for the Youth Olympics. But at that point, when I quit sailing, I was in the laser radial, and I didn't think I was coming back. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to volleyball camp.
This is an interesting topic. So you've come second.
Mum and Dad
Blown.
buy a ranch. We're out of here.
So you've
My
blown.
dad was like, okay.
Your career's at an end. It's all over. You've spat the dummy. You've taken your bat and your ball, and you've gone home. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you've
going
had a
to
couple of years
volleyball
off. Couple of years, was it?
Mhm.
And what brought you back into it? Because obviously we're super happy to have you back. But what was it that you thought, nah, I've got to go and give this again? Was it just an itch?
Well, I guess I was still kind of in it. So when I stopped sailing competitively, my dad was like, well, it's time for you to get a job.
Get a
And I
job.
was like, okay, fair enough.
That was it. Yeah.
It was like time to get a job and get on doing something. And because I had such a great time in the Opties, I was like, you know what, let's go coach Opties at the yacht club. And so I was still kind of involved in coaching and having a lot of fun and sailing for fun on the side as well. Just kind of hopping in on those like Wednesday night races at the yacht club, like with adult racers, just having a great time. And from there, I became an alternate for the Canada Summer Games. I don't know how. I just kind of did a regatta for fun. And the next thing you know, I'm getting invited to this provincial team camp in preparation for the Canada Summer Games. And that's where there are a bunch of Olympians and Paralympians and Para-Pan Am athletes speaking on an athlete panel. And one of them is one of our gold medalists in the sport of trampoline, talking about her Olympic medal and her experience coming off I think it was 2012 Olympics. And that I was just had that moment sitting there, like, what am I doing? I want to do that. I want to win a gold medal. That sounds like an amazing experience. And not even just standing on the podium, but the journey that she took. She just felt so proud of who she had become in that journey. And I just had an epiphany moment, and I was like, it's time for me to come back. What do I need to do? I reached out to every coach and reached out to national team members. How do I take that next step and progress and try to chase that dream?
Cool story. Good.
It's a cool story. I'm interested. I've done a little coaching myself, and I'm interested in the.
Sorry. We've heard this more than once.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. That's why I left the gap in the conversation. I left the gap there so the two idiots could come in and bag me. And then, right. Now, one of the things that I reckon is really good if you're a youngster trying to develop to get your fundamentals up is to go actually do some coaching yourself. Like if people ask me what's a way to become a better sailor, well, especially if you've got a kid, make them coach. Because everything gets sort of fixed in your mind. You start to understand things at a different level, and you see a lot more. Is that something that benefited you, do you reckon?
100%, because when you need to coach those skills, you have to then break them down, simplify it, and also say it in a way that they'll understand it. And it makes you a better sailor because you kind of conceptualized these ideas and broken down these skills. And so then it becomes a lot more simple for you as well. So, and then you actually learn from the different, I guess, scenarios or experiences from the athletes, whether it's opties or lasers or whatever the boat is. I think it's really beneficial to coach.
Well, I got to tell you, boys, one of my favourite coaching moments, I was coaching a little squad of opti kids, and they were doing all these drills, and there's one kid in there who'll forever be my favourite. I zoomed over to him on the boat because he wasn't joining in. And he was just lying on the bottom of the boat with his head looking up at the sky singing. And you know, and just that's what he was doing. And I just looked at him and I said, "You good, mate?" And he said, yeah, I'm pretty happy. And I said, well, you just keep doing that then. That's a good drill for you.
I thought you were going to say your ultimate thing is when you came out from behind the boat shed with an opti on each foot, an opti on each hand, an opti as your head, and you came out as Optimus Prime. He's back.
Transformer.
Somebody will do that
Transformer.
now. Optimus Prime. I love it.
That was a good one.
They're a bit heavy, but I want to see that happen.
Oh, he's a larger than normal. He's a larger than normal human. Our
normal size human being.
Yeah. No, that's because. I mean, obviously that coaching element. And so you've gone back, you know, you did this provincial thing and then you've gone back into the ILCA 6 or the laser radial. And, was there less stress in the way was there a difference in the way you approached your sailing?
That's a good question.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, I think before I was so competitive and thinking about winning races, and then it didn't matter if I was winning races. It was like, am I getting better in my skills every day? Am I having fun?
Yeah.
It became a lot more about the process.
Thank you.
It's a
That's
really good
probably,
message.
I reckon that's probably the most important statement we've had on the show in years. That's that actual sentence.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, I'll take that.
See that on the socials. There'll be a quote.
I've
for
forgotten
sure.
it already.
We'll go back.
No, but it's true.
I'll take
It's
that
exactly-
recording.
Yeah, no, we'll be right. It'll get there. It's true. It sounds like you were burnt out and you were putting so much pressure on yourself, and you've come back and you've relaxed. You've taken a step back. It's almost like you're looking at yourself sailing, and you're going, you know what? I don't want to go to work. Dad,
And I've stuck to that process element ever since. I'm very, very process oriented.
Yeah, right.
All right. So you've done all that, and then next thing you know, trials are coming up. Then you start getting real competitive again, or you take that. You've taken that same mindset in and started to actually see the results on the water when they mattered.
Yeah, ahead of the 2016 Olympics, I was thinking I'm just going to soak up as much as I can from my training partner, Brenda Boskill. She was the one that had won the trials. And I actually took time off of school to sail with her full time. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm just a training partner. I'm going to be the best teammate that I can be for her so that she can have the best performance. So at that point, I was just trying to learn as much as I could. I didn't really think about going to the 2016 Olympics myself. I got a lot closer than I thought I would have, just by trying to be the best teammate for her. And then once we finished the 2016 trials, I was like, okay, now it's time. We're going to be equals. It's time for me to push as well, and kind of thinking towards that next Olympic Games and how to step up in level as well.
Okay. Just an interesting thought. The young lass you'd know very well, the normal Australian from the 2020 Olympics, Mara Stransky, who is one of my favourite people, forever leaving her stuff at my house, right? So Mara lives on a boat and she's forever dumping stuff at my house. And then, they had a training camp here. And one of the things before the 20 Olympics, she was not going so well downwind. And we had lots of long conversations about how to be better at doing it and, whether it was psychological and, all that. Do you have a weakness, or do you have something where you go, I'm weak, or you've noticed improvement where you had to really change what you're doing? Because, that...
I would say, so I was going to say downwind as well. I think in the last quad, we did all the data analytics and you look at all the numbers, and downwind is probably where I was losing the most. Upwind, I didn't really have a problem, but downwind was there that I would lose boats or not necessarily gain, while the top athletes, like the gold medalists, would, put 10 boats behind her in a downwind. So that's something I've been working on still to this day. I've made big improvements, but it's always going to be a focus.
Actually, speaking of gold medalists, I think it's Anne-Marie's birthday today, the day we're recording this.
Yeah, today or yesterday.
Yesterday, Europe time, maybe.
I guess.
Yeah.
From memory, Jordan.
Yeah, from memory.
So, Sarah,
Off the top of his head.
Obviously, ILCA or laser, whatever we want to call them now, extremely physical boats. Are you naturally physically strong, fit, or that's something you had to really work on as well?
That's something I've really had to work on. Even my strength and conditioning coach coached my brother before me, and he'll always say like, oh yeah, I asked him, who do you like coaching more, my brother or myself? Trick question here. I was like, we've only been working together for 8 years. And he was like, well, your brother was an amazing athlete. He was so fit. His patterns were so good. And I was like, well, what about me? We've been working together for 8 years. And he's like, well, Sarah, I'll say you're the better sailor than him. Well, you're my strength and conditioning coach. You're supposed to say that I'm good. He's like, yeah, we had to put put some work with you, just trying to find those right movement patterns and getting you into the routine. So I struggled a bit. I put a lot of work into getting that discipline and that right form. And I'm lucky to have a great coach, even though he clearly favors my brother over me.
Bastard. What a bastard.
So what's it actually look like in a let's say a year out from the Olympics, from a physical and fitness point of view, amount of time on the water, amount of time off the water, in the gym, running, cycling? How's that like from a daily routine perspective look?
It's tough because I find right now when I'm on the water, well, I'm in Europe, so I have to deal with jet lag and there's always an adjustment period. So maybe my fitness kind of like I guess on land fitness maybe takes a bit of a hit. I try to still go to the gym, and strength is probably a little bit less.
Beyonce concert.
Yeah, exactly. Beyonce comes to Marseille, and of course I have to go, so that takes a hit on their old strength conditioning program. But he cleared it. He was like, "Yeah, Beyonce's a once in a lifetime experience. You can totally go."
Yeah.
But for me, a big thing is just making sure that I'm kind of managing injury and keeping healthy. And I'm going to get sailing hours. I'm probably on the water like 3 hours sessions right now, and like 2-week blocks. So right now it's like 2 weeks on in Marseille, and then I'll probably have like 9-10 days at home and then come back. It's kind of, right now I'm in a short turnaround period, which is a bit challenging just because there's so much time in Europe and I like to go home as well. But I guess in terms of the routine, it's ideal is like probably 3-4 times of some sort of cardio based workout, generally biking these days, some running, and then strength sessions 2 to 3 times a week, maybe some yoga or Pilates in there as well.
Sounds like fun. It
sounds like my week.
Yeah, I was just going to say, very, very bitey. Do you like the bike?
Like yes and no. I got a nicer bike during COVID, so it kind of motivated me to do more. I'm not particularly passionate about anything fitness related, to be honest.
So your coach told you.
Good.
Yeah.
ILCA's a good choice then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can hike for a long time, but yeah, when they're asking me to do an hour and a half bike, maybe on the trainer, that's just more mentally challenging than anything. You got to put on a movie or something to get through it. But I'll do it. Like the discipline, I think, is kind of ingrained at this point. But does it make me excited? I don't know about that.
I'll introduce you to my wife if you want to meet someone with discipline. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. You're looking at it right now. Putting up with that, idiot.
Yeah, she can push a bike too, by the way, or used to be able to. Anyway, so looking into, let's go to Tokyo. Were you happy?
Like yes and no. It was a better performance than I guess I thought it could have been. But like a 6th place finish was great. But I also was 4th going into that medal race and had a shot at every medal. So that was a really tough last race. I actually still haven't watched the medal race because I don't think I can handle it. It's just too upsetting for me.
Yeah.
That one shift really got me. But overall I'm happy, but there's still like a bitter taste in my mouth from Tokyo.
It was a tough games. So it was a tough games with the all the disruption. How did you handle that? And do you think that potentially played a little role in the outcome? Well, obviously the medalists are going to say opposite to you, but it was a tough lead in, if you like, for every sailor. How did you handle that? And what was did you think that really played an effect?
COVID, I think, was a struggle for everyone, like across. I don't think anyone had a great time during COVID across the world.
No.
for me, I spent 7 months away from home just because Canada had a 2-week quarantine. I guess it's similar to you guys that you could either leave fully or be stuck at home. And I chose to leave because we have winter in in Canada. So I fled to Florida. But I actually, during COVID, got the most sailing days I've ever had in a year.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think it actually benefited me. Yeah, I did a lot of on water training. And I'm actually happy I kind of had that extra year because prior to COVID, I had a bit of a back injury. So I was probably out of the boat a little bit too much. And yeah, I mean, there were terrible times. And there, of course, it was like mentally draining. And it was so challenging with like so much uncertainty and not even knowing if the Olympics were going to happen. But in the end, I got a lot of sailing days and it worked out.
It was a strange Olympics, and yeah, you're exactly right. All that travel and the isolation for 2 weeks, you know, it was insane, so much. But I guess there was little distraction leading into that. But with that ILCA race, you know, in the women's, there was obviously a lot of stress in a few of the events, you know. I think, Anne-Marie with the coaching thing, that was a crazy one. And going into that last race in fourth for you, the medal race, you know, what was the discussion with the coach? Like, risk it all for the podium? I'm certain that was the conversation.
So my most realistic chance was a bronze medal. I was just 3 points out from that. So that was what we were going for. I just had to put one boat between me and Sweden. And it started off pretty well in that position. But in the end, she actually moved from a bronze medal to a silver medal. So you can't really be mad at her either because she did a phenomenal race and did what she needed to do. And I kind of just, didn't put the race together that I wanted to.
She said, one thing I have noticed, the Northern Europeans in the ILCA female class, it's amazing how strong they are at the moment. It's all Northern Europe. It's bizarre.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I'm in a Northern Europe training group. We call ourselves the Northerners. It's like me, and then we got Sweden, Norway, and Finland. So we the North.
Yeah, that's right. We're the North. All the places that freeze in winter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you're going to have to tell them about the Northern Australian thing now. That
might adopt you all.
Yeah,
actually. Yeah,
we might as well. We're good friends with them all.
Anyone above a certain latitude, they fall in automatically.
Exactly.
So leading into the next Olympics, obviously we're not far away from a test event, but you've just done here in France. Happy congratulations! That was a big one for you. King of the castle, looking down on everyone now. Is that how it works, or what?
No, not at all. I was just really happy with the event. I struggled the first two in the season, and it was like, okay, like should we do this final third? Because I had just gone back and forth to Europe. Like this was the third event, and in the end, we were like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just be really, really focused. Let's work on these 5 things, and kind of checked all those boxes off and stood on the podium. And I was like, wow, okay, let's just every event only focus on 5 things. Always say finish with quality, and maybe that will happen as well.
5 things to focus on. What?
All right, I've got my pen ready. I'm ready to get ready for them, Sarah.
I can't even remember the exact things. It was like probably starting, time on distance, looking back downwind, a couple of downwind, like I guess cues of tighter sheet tension, and then maybe like leverage management upwind. That might have been it. I didn't really have that many things upwind to focus on. It was more downwind and starting, because that was kind of what was lacking in the first 2 events of the season.
There's quite a big emphasis in all sports of learning how to win, though, as well, and not being afraid of winning. There's an element of that at this level now. So taking a win in any event and sailing against, the majority of the people that are going to be sailing at the games, learning to win has got to be a good thing. It doesn't matter what event it is. So surely that is something that you'll take out of it. Yeah,
100%. And in the last quad and kind of in the last like 2 years as well. I've been queen of 6th place. So I've broken that curse a couple times now, which is really nice. And that's kind of just what you were saying with the kind of evolution of learning how to win, in those 6th place finishes. I've had a lot of moments where I could have been on that podium and, you kind of get complacent and you're like, you know what, I really like this 7th place finish in this race instead of it. I could have been a 4th. And when you get to the top, like it's just like 1 point or 2 points between everyone. And that really makes a big difference of fighting for every single boat. So that's what I've been really focusing on in this quad, is just really pushing for those top finishes and fighting for every single position. And that's kind of, I think, made the difference of breaking that 6th place curse and kind of stepping on the podium sometimes.
Well, it's going to be good now because you'll be able to remember this conversation when you're out there, and it'll amp you up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just got to get the recording of Jordan saying, "Oh, I've said the best thing on the podcast so far." And I'll listen to that.
Yeah. I'll send
Hey,
it to you.
Sarah, do you think, given your performance in the last regatta, does it put a bit of a tug on your back for the next regatta, in the sense of the other girls coming out and, your peers for that matter, like looking at you a little bit differently? I was saying, well, Sarah's on the move.
I don't think so. Not that I noticed. I didn't put any pressure on myself. I think every regatta is different, every condition. So no, it's just, I'm just looking to put together a good event. I'm not thinking I got to win or I have to defend anything. It's just, you know what, I'm here. I have the opportunity. Let's see if I can put it together.
Fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
If my coach and I are kind of cracking jokes and enjoying our day, then yeah.
Does he still talk about your brother? Because that wouldn't be a joke.
Not really.
You go out with steam coming out of your ears.
It's interesting listening to you, Sarah, because you can pick up on the mental strength that's developed in you over the years. You can actually hear it in the way you speak. When you were speaking earlier, the way you talked about things has changed the way you talk about things now. So clearly that mental strength has come on. So that's a weapon for you now by the sounds of it. And I think once you get to a certain level, you expect to stay at that certain level, and good sailors just expect to win, and often do, because they do expect to win. I think that let's throw Ainsley or Slingsby or someone out there like that. You reckon they go on the course and think that anyone's going to beat them? Not a chance. So I think you're sort of starting to get there a little bit in the way you're talking. So I'm interested in that.
Thanks. We'll see how it goes. I guess in the next year, I'm certainly putting things in the right places to put together a winning performance. So that's what I'm working on.
Speaking of the next year, what's that schedule looking like?
A lot of time in Marseille. I'm there right now and just kind of learning as much as I can and prepping and, I don't know, being in France as much as I can in that like summer period.
How's your French? How is your French going? Is it good?
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, no, it's terrible. I'm terrible at languages though. So anywhere I go, it's just I used to attempt to say, but now I just walk in and I just go hello, and they're like, they're probably thinking this American coming in here. But no, it's just a lot of time in France. Then we've got some key events coming up with, we have a test event and then the World Championships. So I'm really looking towards Olympic qualification for Canada. And of course, myself, there's an opportunity to qualify myself at these next World Championships. And then just, getting all the ducks in a row in preparing for Paris. Like we've already kind of made our ideal plan and lead up into the Paris Olympics and what we want to do and what we need to check off to make sure that we're going to be in peak performance.
So,
and so the world's Poland, is that right? Is that
in Holland?
Yeah. So, and that's the and you need to qualify the country and yourself. And do you have any inter-country challenges to that?
Not really. There's quite a big gap between me and the other Canadians. They're more
Yeah.
in the development stage. So I think it's like 16 country spots are available at these next World Championships. So top 16 country. And then if I'm in the top 8 myself and no other Canadian within 10 places, then I get sent myself.
Ah, cool.
So yeah, opportunity to qualify 2 and 1, 2 birds, 1 stone. That would be great.
Cool. Okay, well, before we go and really finalise the Olympics, we have to look at all the other distractions that are out there, because obviously your name's down against Sail GP, or it was for a while, and then there's also the I think there's a Canadian, I'm pretty sure off the top of my head, the Canadian Women's America's Cup team. You know, any of that stuff still on your radar, or that's pushed to the side for now?
It's more pushed to the side. I did the one event with CLGP, but I'm focused more on Paris. I don't really have that much time. I feel like my schedule is just so jammed at the moment that it's hard to fit other things in. And then in terms of the Canada AC team, I haven't actually even been approached or talked about or about it. So I don't know anything about it.
Well, I mean, that's all going to be fast tracking now. Speaking with the girls here, we've got obviously Olivia Price, who's doing the 49 FX. She's trying to push it. She's going to be super busy between now and both for the Olympics and for the Cup, which is all in August, September, August next year. So it's a huge workload.
Yeah, I assume they haven't contacted me because I'm clearly focused on Paris. Yeah. But there's a lot of really exciting things happening in Canada, which is really, really cool to see.
Certainly is.
Well, I mean, obviously there's pressure because we just saw yesterday, I think the day before, Jason Waterhouse has pulled out of the Olympics because, trying to do all that, everything that's going on. If you hadn't done sailing, right, what was it, volleyball for you? What was this?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I love volleyball. It's a good sport.
I'm 6 feet tall. It's just, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
I never did basketball, so volleyball seems like the easy pick for me.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing, because of circumstance, you've ended up doing this sport, and now you're at the Olympics. You've been to an Olympics. If you can qualify, you're going to another Olympics. And potentially, you get a medal. And life, there's so few people get to do that path. Does it feel fortunate? Do you look at it like that at all, or you're just so focused on the process that you haven't had a chance to think of it like that?
No, I think I'm very grateful all the time, and even the times where I'm feeling a bit burnt out or I'm like, oh, time to get back on a plane. I try to remind myself, I'm so fortunate to be traveling to the south of France, to have this dream come true of a job and to be chasing my dream, because I recognize how fortunate and unique it is, which is why I try to also share quite a bit about the journey and I guess my path. But no, I feel like I'm very grateful. I'm always saying thank you. And even the other day, last night, I was talking to my parents and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Thank you so much for supporting me and my brother, because we kind of went down memory lane talking about the camp that he went to last night with my parents. And no, I'm so fortunate.
It's actually
Very
written
lucky.
here on the script. We have a script for the show, don't we?
It's a run sheet.
Yeah, that too. I was only joking.
Just
But it's written here. It says support, and you were just going on down that path, and obviously your parents have been a huge support, and your coaches over the time. Is there much sort of support in the way of Olympic, Canada Olympic sailing, those type of federations? Is that a big thing for you?
Yeah, I've been very, very supported, very fortunate. I have so many people that are involved, I guess, in my Olympic campaign. So first, parents, obviously, they're the ones that take you to sailing camp and drop you off. And then now my parents are retired and they're kind of joining the journey. They're calling themselves Sarah Douglas support staff.
Just hold that thought for 1 second. You realize they didn't drop you there because you were going sailing. They dropped you there to get you out of their hair, basically.
Yeah, exactly. To hang out with their friends at the yacht club.
Absolutely. Go on, sorry.
have a couple rum punch or something on a Friday night. That's what they're going for. No, so yeah, my parents are incredible, and they're kind of joining the program this year, and they're coming to a couple key events. They're coming to the World Championships, and they're like, "Can we do laundry for you? Can we go grocery shopping?" Like, they're just really taking on the support staff.
Awesome.
And yeah, they're just amazing. And then I have a great support team where like I have a bunch of experts that work with me. So I have like a nutritionist and a strength conditioning coach and a mental coach. And we've kind of developed this like integrated support team from the Sport Institute of Ontario. And I have that. I have an amazing coach that I've been working with for like 8 years, my sailing coach. And then I also have just like the yacht club, and people in Canada are so supportive. You know, it's been a while since we've kind of had, we haven't had an Olympic medal since 2004. So I think people are really excited about all the things that are happening in Canada. And we've kind of had this like resurgence of sailing with, the Canada AC and the SailGP. Like there's just so much going on, which is really exciting. And people are kind of really getting behind and supporting, and donating is a big part of, I guess, an Olympics. And it's very expensive to be on this like Olympic pathway. And I've got amazing supporters as well to help me out.
If anybody listening wants to reach out, where's the best way to contact you?
SarahDouglassSailing.com kind of has all my contact info. I'm always on Instagram as well. So Sarah Douglas _ my Facebook page, Sarah Douglas Sailing.
So they can all find you that way. Okay. Now, boys, we listened to a list of different coaches and support teams, but there was a massive hole in that program. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, and one thing, that is critical to success in sailing is the banter. Okay.
Oh, have you been reading? Have you got a camera in my room? My little bit I'm writing here. And may I kick this little bit off?
Of course, buddy.
Just, yeah. So
as the king of
the
banter,
next
you are,
thing
Bossy.
you need, of course, we love the banter on the show, and we just want to promote that as much as possible. And I think you've got the easiest possibility at all. Next time your strength and conditioning coach gives you a little bit of shit, just bring out the scorecard and show them what your brother Greg came at the Olympics compared to you.
Exactly.
Do you like my squats now, Power?
But yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a weapon, right? On the race course, it's a weapon. Are you partial for, in basketball they call it trash talk, but we don't like the trash talk. We don't want the negativity, but we like the banter, the humor element. Like it's you use the psychological power of humor. Yeah. Are you partial to that?
I don't really necessarily play mind games with people. I definitely make jokes about, I don't know, things that happen at the race committee, or my coach and I certainly have a lot of banter as well. Like I think when I'm sailing my best, we're just kind of like shooting the shit and having fun and cracking a bunch of jokes. The Aussies are always a good one to go banter with as well. They kind of got that squad, and they just go off. They love nicknames as well. They always call me nicknames.
What's your nickname?
So no,
what is
really
your nickname, Doug?
Oh, that's a good one. Good segue.
Well, so they keep calling me Dougie, which is my brother's nickname. So I told Casey, I was like, you shouldn't be calling me Dougie.
I'm way better than that.
Okay, Dougie.
Do you want to know what Dougie is in Australia? Dougie,
what is it?
There was a TV commercial about 15 years ago the guy became quite famous. It was a pizza delivery commercial, right? And they had this pizza delivery guy, and his name was Dougie, and everyone just would say, Dougie's this sort of no-hoper sort of dude who delivers pizzas, and but everyone loved him sort of thing. So Dougie's just a, that's probably why they thought of the name Dougie, obviously with Douglas, but yeah, Dougie's good. It's a good name.
Yeah, they keep calling me Dougie, and then the next one is Legsy. I don't know. Casey said something about legs 11.
Oh,
and like on the water right before, like in
tall.
sequence.
That means you're tall.
Yeah, and I didn't understand, and so I was like, "What?" And then even we had a general recall, and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about? What's legs 11?" And so now she calls me Legsy.
Well, that's good. Yeah, no, I like
Okay.
that. That's a nice.
That's
path
cool.
back
Just
to
add a
good name.
Y or an O to the end of anything, you get anything. Ain't that
yeah.
right, Jordo?
Yeah.
Or Duggo?
BP's daughters have got your problem. Big long legs on
Yes.
them. So,
Yes, definitely.
but that's good. But I mean, we'll give you one. Our favourite basic one. So there's one guy in Australia that we all love. He's one of our favourite guys, and I spend a lot of time sailing with him. And I think, Bicey, you've sailed with him a bit. So he's a super talented sailor, and he loves the banter on the water. He's the biggest trash talker, the talker of anyone, and also can back it up with being one of the best sailors in the country. And his name's Fritz. So and Rob Jewson, who's one of our great friends, is very, 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 very good at putting people off with the banter. And the most basic one is when you cross tacks upwind, he'll reach out, he'll look out the back of the boat at the other guy, and he'll go, "Oi, whoever it is, one of us is going the wrong way."
And then the other guy taxed. so he taxed quickly because he knows he was going the wrong way in the first place.
Our next set of merchandise in the merchandise pack that you may or may not receive, Sarah might have a T-shirt with that written on it.
So there's plenty more, but that's a basic startup kit for you there.
The problem we've got, we've had quite a few girls on from the ILCA class.
Yeah, they'll all know it.
And we're going to have 10 or 12 of them going upwind saying, one of us is going the wrong way.
I'm going to say that tomorrow, probably.
Yeah,
on the
give
coaches
it a crack.
regatta.
Give it a
One of
crack.
us going the wrong way.
Give it a crack. Absolutely. They'll say, well, you've been on bar karate, have you?
Got to ask, Sarah, is there any sailors that have influenced you or you look up to? Is there any sort of people out there you go, yeah?
I'll always say my brother, I think, is someone that I've always looked up to. But I think right now in the ILCA fleet, Mart, I think, is incredibly experienced and impressive. I've done a bunch of training with her, and she's just a very well respected athlete. And I really like her approach. And she's just one you're like, she beats you, and you're like, fair enough. You're like,
Yeah.
I get it. She's got really good tactics and everything. And then another one would be Anne-Marie. She's also just a very well liked person. So I would say those are the people that I'd probably look up to the most currently, that are here. But yeah, we've got some incredible sailors in the ILCA class.
Oh, absolutely. It's super strong, and we love watching it. I mean, when the events are on, we get right into it. So kind of why we got you, to be honest.
Okay, let's go to the Olympics. You must say, what are the conditions going to be? How many points are you going to have at the end? What do you think it's going to take to win? What's the?
I'm going to have the least amount of points of everyone.
Yeah.
I'm going to sail a really consistent series. I'm going to win the pin, win the race, because left is what you do here. You go left towards the land. I don't know. It's light. It's hot. There's a chance of a Mistral coming through, but that's I've been told only a 10-15% chance of a Mistral.
Yep.
So I feel like a lot of it is just, I guess, knowing what the wind's going to do. Generally, it's more left unless a cloud comes ripping through and changes everything. But wicked fast downwind. That's what I'm working on.
Love it.
So
we proposed an event to World Sailing for the Paris Olympics when the double-handed thing was.
Did you know?
Yeah, we did. When the whole double-handed thing was coming about, because I don't know if you know, but BP actually has created a double-hander. There's a photo of it right behind you. Him, the other way. There you go. The X2. And so, which potentially could have been one of the boats that would have been at Paris. And our idea that we pitched for the Paris Olympics was that we created an event, the longest event in Olympic history, which is when the flame is lit in the stadium, that's the start for the double-hander race, and they just keep sailing, and the race stops when the flame is extinguished. So it's a 2-week 2-week Olympic sailing event.
24/7 sailing.
Yeah. Would you be into that?
No. I'm a day sailor. I need to like come back to my bed and like have a shower at the end of the day. I'm just sleeping on boats unless I'm sleeping on like a 50-foot catamaran or like a luxury boat.
Mara's into that too. But
I'm not. Yeah. Other than that, I'm not really interested in sleeping on a boat overnight while racing.
Let's just touch back onto the Marseille and what sort of conditions do you feel you would, if you could choose the conditions, what would you put forward?
I feel like I'm pretty strong in the Mistral wind. I think I've got a bit of a speed advantage in the big breeze. So I guess if I had to choose, probably that, but it's probably not going to happen. So I think I'll just keep working on my light wind.
Obviously you got to deal with what you get, but obviously there's conditions where you feel more comfortable. So, but being at the venue now is what everyone's doing. So you're gonna all be pretty used to it. So it's going to be hot on the water for sure.
Very hot. A lot of wake. Like there's a lot of boats around in the bay. So actually, I think when you're down on the TV course or model race course, there's going to be a lot of like boat wake around and chop. And it's going to be very challenging.
Fun in the best of times and not fun in the laser.
No.
Definitely not fun in the laser. You just stop and you're like, oh God. Even yesterday in training, like couldn't get through the waves. It was terrible.
Wow.
You're right.
Wow, that's terrible. Okay, well, you have to ask one question. So at some stage, this whole Olympic thing will finish, right? What sailing will you do afterwards? Are you going to go cruising? Are you going to go racing? Like you said, you like to go home to your bed and have a shower. Bicey's an offshore man. He hasn't had a shower since 2003. So what's the plan,
I think eventually I would get like a real job.
Oh.
I have some dreams of, I guess, entering the real workforce and maybe in sport marketing would be cool. But in terms of sailing, like I've always loved cruising. Absolutely love going in the Caribbean on a catamaran and just cruising between islands. In terms of like competitive racing, maybe some IC37 stuff that kind of seems to be taking off in North America, I guess around the world as well.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever kind of pops up. The hard thing that I've struggled with in terms of like sailing other boats is that I've been labeled, well, I guess I am a professional sailor, but a lot of these like weekend events, like you can't go do a J105 regatta in Toronto. Like, you're technically labeled a professional and it's amateur only. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, but I haven't done that much professional sailing. Like I wouldn't really necessarily call myself that level of pro, but now I'm limited on doing those like amateur events, which kind of sucks.
It's an ongoing problem.
So
but it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So I would like to, I guess, do some more of those kind of like fun weekend regattas with friends on J105 or IC37 or something like that.
Wouldn't it be though if once you've stopped your campaigning, your status would have to drop then? What do you reckon about that one? It would have to.
Yeah, it's a year or two, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to get out there for a weekend, going yachting with your mates, having a good time, and not caring about actually what the status is a cool thing as well, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. That's it. Hanging out.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to. So yeah, maybe I'll drop the status post Olympics, and then I was just talking, like my fiance and I always have a debate, like who's going to drive between us.
Yeah,
he's a really good like sailor and driver. And then it's like, oh, who's going to do tactics? Who's going to drive? So maybe we'll get some sort of new dynamic in the relationship of sailing together. That would be really fun.
I look forward to hearing about the divorce. Good luck.
Oh, dear. Cool. All right.
Super cool.
I think, Sarah, we're done for time. We've run out of our allotted time, but we've absolutely loved chatting to you. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It's a ton of fun. I think it's our first interaction with you as a group. None of us have bumped into you before, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to bumping into you in real life and, catching up some more. But best of luck. You've got a big year ahead of you, and we'll be cheering for you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. No, this has been really fun. You guys are a hoot. You guys are fun. So.
We're like a bunch of owls.
I like it. No, awesome, Sarah. Best of luck specifically for the next year. But yeah, look forward to seeing you around the traps at some point.
Yep, all good. Don't stop having fun. Remember that one.
Thanks.
Good on you. It's always good speaking to our good friends from Canadia, as we like to refer to them as. Seeing her path is actually cool, and her attitude, the way she took it too seriously at the start, had a little dropout, got back into the coaching, which is what you really enjoyed, Jay, and then found a different perspective and a different attitude towards it. And I think that it shows that once it's in your blood, it's there. It's just a matter of controlling it a bit, and managing it a bit.
Yeah. I hear you, bud. I absolutely hear you. No, it was good, great fun. I really enjoyed that. I'm certain we'll be chatting to her some more. And we wish her so much.
Absolutely. We do. We throw a lot of reverse curse onto her.
It's funny, isn't it? All the laser sailors, female laser sailors, even the male ones, we get on, they're great fun. We've been having a good time.
Well, when they're sailing, they've got no one to talk to. So to actually to have the opportunity to talk to someone.
They're going so damn slow. All they're thinking about is bar karate. I can't wait to go and have a chat with those guys.
Cool. That's going to come back.
No, I'm only joking. We love the ILCA. We love the class. As we say, it's bred some absolute champions.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. So club events. I'll give you guys a bit of a heads up. Sale Newport Regatta, 8th and 9th July coming up. That's invited classes, the IC37s, which is a one design thing. The F18s, so that'll be our mates at NASA. Or NASA, however they're pronouncing it.
Oh, shit. I haven't sent the artwork for
I was just
livery.
Say, we better get that done quick.
Sorry, I'll get onto that.
505s, but we just don't speak about enough on this show.
The what, sorry?
The 505 class.
Oh.
Yeah. VX1s.
Speaking of, no, we'll talk about it afterwards. But
12 metres, J Eddies and Thistles, so they'll be competing. Speaking of 505s, what were you going to say, boss?
Kill Week. What's happened to the 5.0s at Kill Week?
They're there.
They got cancelled or something.
Oh, did they? Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I just assumed
they were taking it too seriously.
Oh, okay.
Too seriously, yeah. Not enough bananas.
They didn't want to join with the Finns, and they couldn't get enough race officials to do the mornings and the afternoon shifts.
I see.
So they decided to go to the pole, and the Finns won.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. The other event that's coming up, we got a good email from Blair Mitchell. Hello, you three idiots, long time listener, first time writer. There is a local regatta coming up that really mentioned in your prestigious podcast. Blah blah blah. Puts the boot into you, Bicey, then puts the boot into me.
Well, I must admit, I am going to join myself at Qualia this year in Hamilton Island.
We're not talking about Hamo. We're talking about Airlie Beach Race Week, which, in all honesty,
it's the real man's regatta.
I love it.
Person's regatta.
I love it. I'm a mad fan. So
it's the person's regatta. I like it.
The person's regatta. Yeah. The people's regatta.
So for the offshore non-Australians who don't know the region, so Hamo, everyone's heard of Hamo, but the week before is Airlie Race Week, and it's literally 20 miles apart. On these beautiful stretch of water in the same tropical conditions, same perfect conditions. Just the food and drink are cheaper because you're on the mainland. And accommodation.
And you can wear your flip flops, thongs, or jandals, wherever you come from, to the front bar.
Yeah. So it's good. And he goes into all the different classes. It's a big event. So plenty of good stuff, including a whole bunch of cat whackers. He calls them multi-whackers because he's trying not to exclude the trimarans in there, the X40 fleets that she's going to be sailing in. The Orma 60 is going to be floating around. There's going to be plenty on. So Airlie Race Week, 10 to 17 August. If you are coming to Oz and you want to do
it's a bucket list event, put it on your bucket list.
It is a bucket list event.
I think that's an event. Maybe let's do that this year.
What's that?
We should. We might hold a bar karate conference. Up in Airlie Beach.
Yeah.
As part of the race week.
Well, I was going to raise that with you in a minute, actually. We'll come back to that. We can debate which regatta we're going to do it at. Funding has been renewed for Port Stephens Regatta, so the New South Wales government's backed that one in.
Saw that.
They've got a good relationship, so congratulations there. And
For the world's longest regatta.
Yeah.
Goes for about a month, that one. Like Sale Newport.
When I saw the press release, I've gone, is it still going, that regatta?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so they're the good ones. There's a few more to touch on, but we'll come back to them in hot time. But let's move on to the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week. It's a bit hard to pick this week. There's been so many good emails, but we had a great email from Coops. No more detail. Just signed off as Coops. Did you boys see that one?
Love that one.
Loved it.
Love the pick he supplied as well.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain that one, or you want?
Yeah, go for it.
So Coops, he loved our discussion about the joyriding on the Sail GP boats, and special viewing seat. He for the funding for a team, and he came up with this idea of a special viewing seat on the bow. So anyone that's been seen the Mad Max, what's it Something Road? What's it called? Mad Max Something Road. The latest one.
Yep.
Where they had the body, those people that were
Tied to the front of the
front of the cars with the mask on. Yeah. He sent us a photo of that through, and he's thinking that's the perfect setup for the Sail GP. And I must admit, it looks.
I tell you what,
probably the
it's
safest.
Probably not the just for Sail GP. Wouldn't be a bad idea on the ocean race boats either. At least you'd see someone coming.
Well, another thing we'll come back to. Well, I love it. And then Timmy Beaver came through with some good stuff. He's one of the many people that came through some good stuff on the ocean race stuff, which we'll come back to. So Timmy's.
But the other one, of course, was Freddie Hill. Wrote in earlier today, so you guys wouldn't have seen it yet. But basically, making an introduction to talk about some stuff about the virtual regatta going on.
Funny.
Quite a very good email, good introduction, and I love the sign off. At the very least, he might be able to help find Brett's boat. This particular person.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he does, let me know, because I'm really looking forward to getting involved in the next race at some stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I must be running out of food, though.
Yeah, food and water. You're done.
He's introducing us to Tom Gorty. I reckon I had beers with him in the airport in South Africa once. So, and missed my flight. Yes,
you are right. That is the man.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, but anyway, so this virtual racing is something that I did actually want to think about, and it was something I wanted to discuss. So Freddie's email is pretty bang on point, but we'll come back to that a little bit more.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Cool.
Ole, 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 ole. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
It's hot time with Bice.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Harry Fisher and I, we've got this office together actually, and I'm going to actually make him do that. Just say that when I walk in the office now.
Love it.
Mate, we cannot go past the ocean race.
Nah, it's everything.
It is all on Donkey Kong. It is currently, at time of recording, the 24th. Boats are due in on the 25th. So as this goes to air, the expected due in time was the 25th. The current routing has them in on maybe the 27th or 28th.
Drifting around.
Yeah, just drifting around the med.
Around the med.
Yep. No wind. Last 500 miles. Going to take 3 or 4 days.
I wonder how many are run out of food.
Well, being the last leg as well, knowing that you're coming into the med with not much breeze, potential for not much breeze, and to go light, I'd say everyone. And then, of course, we'll discuss it, but the other bits there, of course, is the redress hearing is being held on the 29th.
Right.
The Orca attack on Team Jajo. Well, some say he just had an itchy head poor orca hadn't even got any arms to itch it. So
That would
to-
suck, wouldn't it? I mean,
the
really.
scratch, yeah.
I'd be all
So-
over that. I'd be aiming for every boat that I possibly could find just to
So-
give myself a bit of a back rub.
What do we start with, boys? The redress hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a
Um,
really good
A
point. really good
lot of
topic.
banter on the socials this week
Yeah.
between who was, well, clearly one boat in the wrong, but what the redress looks like. Is 11th hour going to get the redress? And there was arguments from both sides that they were hindered and couldn't complete the leg, of course, so they should get average points. Or some people are saying they didn't avoid the collision. So fundamental rule of sailing. It's and it actually got a little bit heated
Yep.
on the post,
Yeah.
which isn't really our style, but I kind of liked it.
You love it. Love it. Okay.
Where do you sit on this, boys? So you've done the numbers, Jordan.
Right. I'm actually just doing the numbers as we speak. 19. Have I got it right? So they've got so they had a second, a third, the first, haven't they?
Correct. So I had them average position of a 1.8.
Yeah.
So the way it would work, if it's average points, right? That's what you would think. Okay, this is in most regattas. That's what you'd think. So average points, high scoring system. So first is 5 points, and second is 4,
Yep.
third is 3, blah blah blah. So they've got after 1, 2, 6 events, they've got 25 points. So if you divide that by 6. So their average is a bit over 4, about 4.2. So their average score would be just a bit better than second. So it'd be 4.1 or 4.2,
Which makes sense.
Yep.
4.2, correct.
Wholesome. So add that to their score. So they're just under 30. Wholesome is 2 points behind, and if Wholesome win, if they do that average, then with that number, if they do average, then 11th hour would win.
By
Correct.
point something of a point.
Yeah, just
So if they get redressed, there's no way 11th hour can lose. Put it that way.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But aren't they? I don't understand. Aren't they? Isn't the race committee call all the teams to be part of this in Genoa when they get there?
I really do not know what that's about.
It's
And I tried
man.
I tried hitting David Tillett up about this yesterday
Oh, yeah,
at Sir
yeah.
James's funeral.
Yeah.
He remained very tight-lipped, though. our friend.
Mm.
Tillett.
Funny the
So-
people you bump into at a funeral, eh?
Exactly. But the way I see it, if they get the redress, there's no way they can lose. Currently, Wholesome is actually not leading. So
it is.
who knows?
I'm just looking at the screen
okay.
right now.
They just got back.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, they've drifted in front.
Yeah, they've just blown past Malizia.
which I've got to say, given the aggressiveness that 11th Hour have sailed with in the last 3 legs, they are well-deserved winners in this.
Yeah, look, I've got to say the same, guys. My opinion is, even though we look at that as a racing incident, that I don't think anyone deserves to have an event of this nature taken away from them. Like clearly they were, clear favourites. They only had to come second, and or beat Wholesome to win the regatta anyway, right? So
Yeah.
it's the whole debate of they didn't keep clear. I mean, it happened so quick. If you look at that video, everyone sits here in their little lounge chairs and goes, "Oh, he should have just, tacked or borne away or done this or done that." By the time you sort of see it happening,
But
you
when
go,
you-
"Oi, oi,
When you're
oi."
up on a lay line in the Etchell fleet, for example,
Mm.
you know that boat's going to tack under you, right?
Well, yeah, okay.
More
But
often than not,
this scenario-
unless you're on board, of course.
Yeah.
But
So let's look at this scenario. Charlie's tacked over. He's got himself settled, and he's sat down, and he's looked up, and he's seen them coming across. You hear the call, and the time between the call and when the hit occurs, it's quicker than everyone thinks. It's like it looks slow motion in the video. It looks like it, because you expect them to respond. That's the big thing, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's
You
an
expect
expectation.
them to respond,
Yeah.
and they didn't. And before Charlie had realised that they hadn't responded, and it was the last second when they actually did respond. And if you look at that video closely, that obviously you're bearing away, so they're speeding up. There was no chance
No,
of
no.
them getting past.
So I've
And
got
no
a bit of a
chance of
spin.
Charlie
I've got
getting
a
out
bit
of
of
the
a
way.
bit of a spin on it. It's actually going to go further than redress, and World Sailing will ban all IMOCAs from competing in any competition in future.
I was thinking about this.
Due to lack of vision. One of the most fundamental rules of sailing must keep an active lookout,
Geez, that's a
and
bit
you
cool.
cannot keep a lookout on those boats.
Okay.
And let's face it, that particular boat, very bad for visuals. There's a rumor has it in the double-handed that Alex and Neil McDonald did as they were leaving front, like they very, very nearly hit a fishing boat just due to lack of vision. So where's it going to end, boys?
Okay. Right. I've been thinking about this.
There's an element of this is our playground and no one else exists, isn't there?
Okay.
Mhm.
First thing I've just been checking, I've just been looking at the weather models to see if 11th hour can actually catch up and sail around them and still win the race. It doesn't look like they can. There's a ridge going to slow them down. So I don't think they can do it. But I just had a quick spin through. And then, you know me, I spend most of my time looking at cruising boats nowadays and big cruising catamarans. It's going to become a class rule that all the mocha boats have to have full windows across the front of their saloons now, like a catamaran. So you can
The saloon.
yeah. So the saloon windows. So they'll have to have full vision straight out the front.
Yes.
That's
Wouldn't surprise me. There's going to be something there. And kind of a bit serious now, I am quite surprised. There's been lots of crashes due to lack of vision. But there's going to be one soon, which is going to... Catastrophic, exactly. So World Sailing, if you're listening, take our lead. Probably don't ban the class completely, but give it at least a bit of a shake-up to make sure that we don't have something catastrophic.
a whole canopy of windows across the front. It's going to have to be what it is. I mean, I know it'll add a lot of weight, but I think they might just have to mandate it. I think that's what they're going to have to do. And plus, it takes some structural integrity out of that because it's a monocoque shape. Well, I guess it's not quite monocoque, but it has that sort of effect with the stiffness of the cabin.
But you can get around that with stringers and various design elements.
Yeah, that's right.
The window, it can be an ISO standard, which there is an ISO standard perspex number that can be used, and that is really just filling in the holes, and the structure itself doesn't change.
One thing Bicey and I actually came up with a few years ago when we were doing the ocean race stuff was that with the IMOCA discussion was because we didn't want boats dropping out and the 65 did so well, they were indestructible, was to come up with like a one design framing element so that, teams didn't underspec the structural framing inside the boats and
build the boat around that.
Yeah, that was one of the ideas that we had, but they ignored us. So the other thing I talked about with Bicey on the phone the other day was that I've noticed, when it's windy, they're throwing all their weight forward on these things. Like on the imports, you see all the guests are right at the bow, and
when they're doing like those speed runs and stuff.
Yeah, everyone's up front. But when it's light, everything's down the back. All the guests are down the back, and it's like so clearly, it wasn't once you're not on the foil, but you're still doing 15 knots. No one's there. They're trying to keep everything as far away back as that, and not keeping a proper lookout. That's one of the things. But man, it's just I just can't imagine. Yeah.
Boys, right? Enough of that.
Are we doing the orca?
Next topic. The orca, old mate with an itchy head. He's like, just do this though. Put your hands behind your back, a bit of an exercise. And if you got an itchy scone, what are you going to do?
Hit a microphone.
Exactly. So, mate, we've solved the problem. It's just they've got an itchy scone.
I just got to say, the vast majority, like 99.9% of our audience listen rather than watch. But
That's why I hit the microphone, make it sort of give it some sound.
YouTube, and it's very funny. Watching you
See
two.
what Bicey and I just did.
Okay.
Mate, so
that was freaky.
you could not script this enough. We spoke about it. There's been a whole lot of press lately about the orcas, about, the pod, that particular pod of 38 orcas, and it's all based on something that happened years ago that one orca got killed, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just beautiful, calm weather. Orca comes up, gives itself a little rub. We were watching it, Jordan, and we actually said at the time, whilst we were on the phone, we need to record this stuff, because I had not seen that.
Yeah.
And it literally blew my mind.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So good.
It is funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. I've got a few topics to throw into this. Okay.
Do tell.
Oh, where's BP gone?
He's gone to scratch. He's gone.
He's upset. Oh, look at those blazers in the background.
I'm listening. I just got a bit dry. The
Okay.
argument was a bit dry.
Yeah, got a new ale.
Bit of a dry argument. It is Saturday evening.
So, as you were just saying, Bicey, it seems to have become this trend in the killer whale, the orca community to go after the boats, right? Did you know there was a trend in the orca community, and this is genuine, and it lasted for a few years?
Yeah, of course it is.
No, this is genuine.
Yeah,
Google it, or whatever search engine you want to use. There was a little trend where it happened in multiple pods where they would put a dead salmon on their heads and swim around with the dead salmon on their heads. It's true.
Interesting.
Interesting, I know. Fashion.
Yeah,
and it died off after about a few years.
Well, it's pretty clear, though. They have these little things, and it's not a one-off, right?
Well,
and this whole attacking the rudders and the boats and stuff.
They go out the backyard with the kids and play catch with the seals.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's the equivalent.
We've had quite a few people writing in actually about the Sunfish Union of joined.
Well, this was where I was going.
Joined up with the Orca Union.
This is where I was going. I personally think they're pretty pissed off with us.
Go
the
ahead.
Sunfish Union or us?
No, the orcas.
Oh, the orcas. Okay,
Yeah.
I've got some inside.
I've got a way
us,
they can actually stop hitting the rudders.
I've got it. I've got the inside.
All right,
does anyone know why they're pissed off with us?
Yeah, go on,
go,
BP, tell us.
We never gave them any press. We never gave them any airtime. They were just over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sunfish Union got all of it.
So here's the thing. This is before we add all this stuff, and all the Sunfish Union and the Orca Union and all that, now that you've brought that up, BP, I have sent a note to all the boats on...
To the president of the Orca Union?
No, all the boats as they went through this Gibraltar Straits. Right?
Yeah.
And I asked if they were... because we're trying to work out a way to chase them away, and one of the ideas I had was a cannon with a lot of air, so you could just spray lots of bubbles into the water. And then I thought, sound. So I actually sent a note because all but one boat got attacked. And I sent a note to all the boats and asked if they were making, they had any audio coming off the boat as they went through. And all but one boat was listening to Barkarati.
Well, I'd say it's the other way around. The one boat that didn't get attacked was listening to Barkarati, and as the orcas got closer, they just went fell asleep.
No, they actually they relaxed. They chilled out.
No, they got chased off by my voice. Yeah. So the whole I think one of the notes that came in with the big final of the day is so Tim Beaver, he said, so I've heard a rumour 11th Hour have been in negotiations with the Sunfish and Orca unions ahead of the final import race, right? So
well done, Beaver.
There's plenty of people coming that, and I actually just wrote back saying, yeah, not going to do them any good because they need to be talking to the French Fishing Boat Association. But anyway, so I don't know, but if we step back from all this and forget all the bullshit, it is an amazing scenario. There's a lot of boats getting attacked by these orcas. I don't know what I would do. if I was in the situation. But like you can hear in that video, if you haven't watched it, it's on our site. It's on the Ocean
sheer
holy shit, and
like how scared they are. Yeah.
banging the deck, doing everything they can.
Well, these things are pretty damn big.
Pretty damn big. Yeah. But
Very
so what
intriguing.
have we decided? Nothing.
No,
Basically, no.
we've got really made any inroads into it.
We've got no idea what's going to happen. We've even gone to the former head of rules in the world, and he won't give us any insights. We've got
Whilst at a state funeral for a legend of sailing.
yeah. We've got no solution to the orcas except play more baccarati, and there's no wind. So we have no idea if the race will even actually
we
finish.
got nothing.
Yeah, we've
The
got
race
nothing.
is not going to finish. The orcas are going to continue to harass. Baccarati episodes are going to run out.
Well, I'm
World's
actually
gonna-
wondering
the
how
world's-
Charlie's going to be there in person for the hearing
Yeah.
on the 29th.
Boy, geez,
Maybe he might get a lift with the walker.
they did a good job.
Right in on the back of one. Bit of a rope in its, in its head, in its nose, and standing
Off
on
he
its
goes.
fin.
The ultimate psych out. I love it. Yep. Good.
Good discussion, that.
It'll be sad it's
With-
over, but it is just about over. But yeah, it's going to end in controversy. Whatever
The
happens,
discussion or the race.
the race. Yeah.
The race.
But anything else, boys? Before I
Oh no, hot time. No, that's it.
That's
It's
it?
all ocean race today.
Okay.
So I literally just before we jumped on air here, I was chatting to our good friend Coxie, trying to get a bit of inside info on a few other
Why have we never had him
controversies
on the
around
show?
town. But mate, every time we chat, it should be on the show.
Yeah, no, he'd be a crack on the show.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay.
And no
Cool.
insight. Okay. All right.
No, nothing with a bit of with much depth. Anyway,
Yeah, okay.
let's say. Yeah,
So pretty well the same as our conclusion.
yeah,
All right.
basically.
Now,
Completely full of shit.
it's not all about the ocean race. So there's a lot of things going on at the moment. So we
There
better
is,
touch
there
it.
is.
One is the Super Yacht Cup in Palma.
Oh.
Oh. Now,
Ah,
Yeah,
Rumph
what-
for rumph.
what I did, yeah, I know, it's just
Pitter
started.
patter,
It's going
pitter
great.
patter.
What I did notice, Mr. Bice, is that just ahead of the event, that our friends at Southern Spas North Sales had quite the party.
Here.
Why did they not get Baccarati to appear live at that?
Why were we not invited?
Yeah,
That's what I want.
well, he is your sort of,
he's like your
What do you-
second dad.
He's like my
second dad.
godfather. Yeah,
your
exactly.
godfather,
Herbert. So
Herbert.
yeah.
Disappointed Herb.
But
And I
No,
got you a nice jacket,
what-
Herbert.
what an absolute glamour of a place to sail,
Oh.
and surrounded by those particular boats as well. So beautiful is what I'll say.
Anyway,
Yeah.
good luck to all the competitors. Even if there's only 5 boats competing, there's still 100 sailors there. Like there's so many people on the
Oh,
side of those boats.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more than 5. I'm just saying that. Just the number of the people that have to sail those things is quite immense. The other one, the exact opposite of the scale, single-handers, the OK Dinghy Worlds.
Yes,
in-
very cool. I've got a bit of a connection with this one.
Go on.
So I was looking forward to
do
this.
tell.
We've got quite a few of the guys from the Australian OK fleet have gone over.
Oh,
and
of course, from your club.
Yeah, we've got. I'd like to shout out to one Peter Robinson, a very good friend of ours from the club. Who's gone over.
Robbo. Yep.
Robbo.
Good luck,
It's
Robbo.
believe it or not, it's Robbo. Would you believe it?
Well,
Hey,
it's Sydney.
Yeah.
So
So
Put an eye on the end of
he actually is a K1W one,
Oh.
but he's gone over and
Geez,
keen
Kiwis-
individual without intelligence.
Yeah.
keen individual without intelligence.
They go well in this class too.
Actually, so he's gone over and he's competing, and I believe it's all underway now. So yeah, that's going to be fun.
Racing actually starts on Monday.
Right.
All the
Any wind?
measurement, all that stuff goes on. They've got
Any wind in the UK?
no,
It was
not
light.
yet. Actually,
It's been a week. It's coming.
there's 144 entrants from 13 different countries, which I think is the
It's
second largest world ever. Because I think the record before was 145. So it's a big. like there's been a big resurgence in the OKs. You know,
We're going to have to do a bit of a special on this next week, I think, because I think it's going to be cool. There's some pretty hot sailors there. I don't know the exact or the actual list. I haven't got the list in front of me of who's gone over from here, but it's a big contingent, and they put a lot into it.
The Poms have been the dominant people in this fleet for a little while recently. The Kiwis have got a strong record, but yeah, it's definitely it's going to be a big event, and I guess I just want to say good luck to everyone that is competing in it. I think it'll be a ton of fun.
Yeah, actually looks like there'll be some nice breeze throughout the week.
Oh yeah,
yeah, some nice southwesterly flow. So
Sounds nice.
it looks good.
Solid,
Better than what the Moss had. Put it that way.
wow.
Lyme Regis, it's down in Lyme Regis.
Yeah, that's it.
Funny
Emily,
name for a place, isn't it?
our friend Emily Nagel, who's been a guest on the show, and often you hear her voice doing the TV commentary for Sail GP. She sent a note. She sent me some wind files from the Moth Worlds at 4:00 in the afternoon after they'd called the racing, and the first bit of wind hit right then. So, so that sucks.
What actually happened? I didn't.
They didn't get any racing in. We called it.
So no racing at all.
Yeah, we called it.
Oh.
I think they tried to get 2 races, but they didn't get all the finishes or something. So
Yeah. Anyway, underway right now, team. As we record this, and they're not far from finishing, is the Brisbane to Keppel yacht race.
Yes.
I did want to mention that because it's it's your typical tropical yacht race up the coast from Brisbane, and just
Did
like
you
the rest
paddle out to go see him?
I did not. I didn't even think to do that. But just like the rest of the world, there's no wind. They've been just drifting along the coast. But what is of interest is there's like a match race going on, which for the 2 leading boats. It's a small fleet, but there's about, as we record this, they're about 60, 65 nautical miles from the finish. In first place currently is Wedgetail, which is a Wellborn 42. Dave Rose brought it back over from New Zealand. And right behind them is literally they're match racing each other. Is a boat called Not a Diamond, which is an all-female crew. So
Out of Royal Prince Alfred, right?
Yeah. Stace Jackson's, I think.
skippered by Stace, another Barcaradian.
Yeah, but
Correct.
you're right.
We've got some reach, haven't we?
Oh, it's good though, isn't it? So the Not a Diamond is it's like a HH42, I think. So they're both
Correct.
about the same size, and so it's a classic race. Like they're just matching each other to death at the moment. But how cool is that? The all female crew just giving it. Yep.
So good.
It is. So
Good on them.
If you're interested, jump on. It'll be finished by the time we get it, but it is. You can watch it on the tracker. Good one.
Yeah.
And then the last one I wanted to mention was the e-sports sailing world event that they had in Singapore, which literally happened last night, and you could watch it live, which is sort of what was alluded to at the start. This whole thing about esports and esports sailing. And I'm just looking at the results. I think I've got the right results. So in first was Tim Carpentier, a Frenchman.
9 years old.
This is the inshore event. Then from GBR, Kavan Fayans.
Fresh off his fortnight win.
Yeah. And
Hope he wasn't using the controller they used in that submarine.
from Portugal.
Version.
Yeah, oh, Jesus,
Oh.
that submarine. From
Had to come in,
Portugal, Francisco Melo. I wonder any relation to Fred.
We don't need to add an O to his last name. He's already got one.
You
Oh,
know,
already
but
got one.
Federico
Oh,
Melo
Melzi.
is one of the greats. I think he's on the Spanish Sail GP team. But yeah, done the ocean race a few times. So Francisco Melo. And then in the offshore, sailing
You'd
offshore.
call him Melzi, wouldn't you?
Melzi. Sailing offshore, let's see, is that underway still or just trying to work out what's going on? I'm not getting anything. But anyway, esports, I haven't watched it. I haven't looked. I haven't got any expertise. All I know is our ongoing joke about BP's boat lapping constantly around the world.
Still going.
Still going.
Just getting closer and closer to
I've done the
Antarctica.
classic. I've done the classic French maneuver, boys. You don't even know.
Just keep going. You've done a
No,
Bern
I've stopped
and
in Tahiti.
Matissier. You just keep
I've
going around the
stopped-
world.
No, I've stopped in Tahiti. I'm married. I've got 3 kids. And I'm living the life.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, dear. Too easy.
Right.
But yeah, plenty of sailing on. And definitely for the OK Worlds, we'll be watching with interest. And
One that's just popped in is the Round Island next week. Round Island race in Isle of Wight. So
here. Yeah.
you're looking at that with interest.
so much going on. It's good. It's all back. Sailing's big.
Sailing's back.
Sailing goes all right.
BP, I told Bicey during the week, remember I made an offhand comment about looking at a fin?
Yeah.
2 episodes ago?
Yeah, you bought one, haven't you?
No.
No?
But the fin class in Australia have definitely heard. I've been stalked.
What have they said?
I've got. Do you want to see a list?
Normal size human beings allowed.
I've got so many text messages. Here we go. Of fins for sale. Hang on. Oh, you can't see with my stupid screen. All the list of fins for sale. Look at this.
Oh, there you
Beautiful.
go. Look at that.
Look at it. I'm getting 3 calls a day.
For all the people who aren't watching this on YouTube, which is out on YouTube, but not many people watch it. It's a pretty big list.
It's a long list.
I like it.
I've got to say, any class out there, if you don't have a bloke called Phil Chadwick in your class, you're missing out, because that man is persistent and determined.
Well, what
I'm
wants,
looking for. What are you going to call your fin when you get it? Normal size human?
Oh, I was just going to call it BK or Barkarati or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Barkarati Express.
Yeah.
Barkarati Express.
Yep. The northern cousin.
Hot time with Bice.
Rightio. Pitter patter, man. Play the music.
All right.
How are you now?
Now,
All right, lads. Great fun.
as we're signing off here, boys, just a quick little story. 79 Fastnet, Sir James Hardy. They've come back around the rock into the Irish Sea, blowing dogs off chains, so to speak. Sir James just starts reciting some Shakespeare.
I wish none of us could do that, could they? No, just no.
Unbelievable. What a
He's
man.
a beauty. He's a
Ballet.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Let's go.
Appreciate it.
Mr. James.
And thank you for your champagne.